good evening, everyone, and welcome to another impactful session of MANVERSATION. I am Dr. James Bush. And as always, it's an honor to facilitate this space. We typically host a panel featuring 2 men and 1 woman. But for the holidays, we're doing something different to enhance our dialogue and embrace new perspectives. That's right. This time we have 2 amazing women and 1 man joining us to share tools and techniques for living a fulfilling life as we head into 2024 and beyond 2025. Now, I know our flyer focused on finances. Yeah, I know I did. Sent it out. But we've had some last minute changes to our panel. Let's keep our brothers and sisters in prayer during this holiday season. That said, tonight's theme is broader. It's about life. What it takes to rise above challenges and set the foundation for an even greater 2025. But before we get started, I encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe to our MANVERSATION YouTube channel. This is a space for Black men to access resources, information, tools, techniques, and support. Now, let's meet our incredible panel. Let's start with the introduction. Panelists, please share your name, what you do, and what motivates your work. Georgiana Haynes, please step to the front of the congregation, please.
Hello, everyone.
How
Thank you
you
so much
doing?
for having me. My name is Georgiana Haynes. I am a knowledge broker trained in architectural design and currently coaching women in male-dominated fields. So for me, I was motivated to get into that field because I think that there's so much information out there
Right.
and there's so much access to resources, but sometimes when you're in the time crunch, you don't take care of yourself the way that you should. And I noticed that as a woman in a male-dominated field, I didn't know what resources were there for me until I was burnt out, overwhelmed, and stressed. And I was able to get myself through that, and now I empower others to do the same.
Awesome, awesome. That's awesome. Now, and our next panelist is Suzanne Crawford Burton. Come on up here, Suzanne.
Hello. Thank you, Dr. Bush. My name is Suzanne Crawford Burton, and I am a realtor. And I have been a real estate agent for 23 years, doing this full time. Well, I have also encompassed that I have written a book, so I am an author. The title of the book is called The Wild Wild West of Real Estate,
Okay.
and it has like 250 tips on how to do this business better.
Mhm.
My mantra on that is if you know better, then you should do better,
Okay.
without a
Okay.
doubt. I am also a life coach, got my life coach certification. I'm
Uh-huh.
also a money coach because if anybody asks you about Suzanne Crawford Burton, I'm about that coins now. Them coins have got to be real. So I have to help people to be able to just navigate during that process. And sometimes it's difficult because we don't want to admit the things that we want to admit, but
Yep.
I help you process through that. I'm also a workshop facilitator. I do home buyer seminars. I do customer service seminars, collection seminars on how to collect money. And I'm also an actual trainer and also a business consultant. So I have like a little bit of everything encompassed based off of the career that I have. My corporate background is working with Equifax, so I understand credit, and credit scores don't bother me. I mean, we can get through that without a doubt. But I think my biggest thing is being able to be a part of a process of being able to teach people to feel better about themselves and their situation, regardless of their economic background. And that's where I get my joy from. So I appreciate being here today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like it. I mean, I like what you about that money. So, all right. Our next panelist, Mr. Derek Morgan himself. Derek,
Yep. Yes, sir. What's going on? How's everyone?
what's going
Hopefully
on?
doing fine. My name is Derek Morgan. Not to confuse me, and I do apologize. You can't see me with that gentleman on Criminal Mind, but hey, I was Derek Morgan before he was. But a little bit about myself. Uh, I worked in the as a quality manager for many years. COVID came, and I got into a little bit of real estate from the standpoint of construction. So I have rehab many houses since COVID, and uh, boy, I hate to say it, but man, that vision and that light probably started when I was about 5 years old, and many years in between before I came back and started doing that. But truly, that's something that I enjoy. So hopefully, I can share and answer a few questions this evening, and look forward to the conversation that's about to take place.
All right, panelists. Thank you. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, panelists. Now, let's get into the gauntlets. Thank you all for being here. Let's dive into tonight's conversation about life tools, techniques to live fully in 2024 and position ourselves for an even greater 2025. I'll pose a few questions, but this is a dialogue, so feel free to engage and share. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Let's get to it. Question number one. What does living above life mean to you, and why is it essential for Black men today? Who wants to start first?
I'll take it. I really like this question because I don't think we spend enough time thinking about life in that way. We can get so focused on what's not working, right? But I think right now we're in an interesting season. We're in a season of reflection, not just as individuals, but as communities, as country, as nations. And I think we've gotten to a point where things are just happening so fast. We've gone through the information age, we did information overload. We're now in the implementation stage where we're building things that we used to talk about in hours. We have so much access to information and resources, but then there's also competition on an international scale. So there's a lot happening, and it can be really easy for us to find ourselves majoring in the minors or getting swept up in all of these things and losing sight of the big picture, who you are, right? Not just where you're from or where you came from, but how much potential you have, what the possibilities are, how much you can do, and a level of abundance that's out there. I think it's so important to accept and embrace that. So our minds are focused on looking for opportunities instead of obstacles, so that when we do encounter obstacles, our minds are not they've already been trained to focus on ways around how to get through instead of getting stuck. And I think it's just that things are just moving so fast right now. The key here is to not get stuck, to focus on that abundance and that potential.
Anyone have anything to add? Suzanne, here she come.
Okay. I kind of looked at this a couple of ways. I think in today's time, because I'm a lot older than Georgina, meaning the fact is, okay, because I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
Look it.
Without a doubt. But we were just having a discussion about African-American men and their position in today's society. And there's a lot going on. Even though we were talking about 1950s, 1960s, still there's a lot for them to be able to absorb. And I have just learned I'm a common sense kind of girl. I'm an ABC. Steve Harvey had said that if you got a group of people that you hang out with, you got your brothers, whatever, that's fine. But if you are the smartest bulb in that group, you better go find some new friends. Now, you can like them, and that's all right. But you need to find something that's going to be able to challenge you into another circle or another realm. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that, it is by education, it's by information. Information is so critical now that I don't care how you get it, whether you get it from YouTube or you get it from podcasts or you get it from reading a book. You just got to be responsible enough to be able to say, I want to live larger than life, but how do I do that? How do I accomplish that? But I just see it as the number one thing for 2025. You might need to do a reassessment on who you are hanging around, what you are exposed to, and then, make some changes.
I definitely like that comment you made about being the smartest person in the room. I mean, we all are ever looking to learn and grow, and a lot of times without any friction or anything, or anyone, I'm sorry, to compel you to grow in that area, unfortunately, you will stay stagnant and you will be like Pookie and Ray Ray on the corner continuously.
And that's true.
Derek, you got anything to add, my brother?
Yes, sir. Pookie and Ray, hey, they may be some down brothers, and hey, they can hang out with you. But I think the whole point of living in life is taking advantage of those opportunities that come before you. And sometimes it is timing, being able to make a decision to move when you need to move. And give you a quick example of that. And I may be a little bit older than some on the call, but in the around 2008, somewhere in there was a lot going on in real estate market, a lot of houses that were just people were losing a lot of homes during that time, and the banks were selling those homes that they were pretty much burning up their portfolio. So you're able to get homes relatively quick during that time. And I had a family member that probably bought about 35 homes during that time. And timing, you can't be afraid to be a risk taker. And when things happen that might look good or you may be a little bit afraid of, got to be able to really bite down and take a bite and take a risk. Another example, the whole GameStop. My sister is a stock market watcher, and in that short period of time, she probably made about 20 something $1,000 in the stock market. Again, events happen in life. You just got to be able to make a decision. Hey, I want to be a part of it. I want to take advantage of it. And my last example is surrounding cryptocurrency.
Okay.
I wasn't sure about that. Invested in another name of coins during that time. It didn't take off as well as what we're seeing now. But still, you have to be willing to take a chance, so that you're not years of regret, wishing you had taken advantages of different things that will happen in the economy we all live in.
Suzanne, did you want to answer or you want to add something to that?
Well, it is very true what Derek said. And that's the reason why I tell people to don't listen. All that chatter. Don't listen to that. You need to be with your mindset within you and what you want to be able to do. That means being true to yourself. But also, too, like I said before, you need to be sound foundational people. And that means the people that are going to be honest with you and they're going to be able to contribute to your life. I tell people you're either going to be an asset or a liability. Now, which category do you want to be in? Because I want assets because I deserve to have that. But if you're a liability, don't mean no harm. Mama got to cut you. You got to go.
You know, Suzanne, we're gonna circle back to that last point right there on assets and liabilities when it comes to those we associate with, because I think there's some more oil we can pull from that. Let's get to question number 2. What are 3 practical tools or techniques Black men can use to manage stress and achieve balance in their daily lives? Who wants to?
I'll take that.
All right.
Okay. Number one is we're not known for being able to take care of ourselves. You got so many things going on in life. You got to learn how to do self-care. Sometimes it's very difficult for men to be able to do that because of the challenges, whether they work in 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, coming home, trying to bring it home to bacon in some cases, and they're trying to be able to manage the family environment if there is a husband and wife. If there's a single father, which I've had clients which were single fathers, that's kind of difficult, but you've got to manage to be able to carve out some time, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever the case may be. But you need that self-care to be able to just rest your mind in order to get rejuvenated. And that's critical. Number 2, I have learned a long time ago, you need an accountability partner. That means that if I am doing something, and sometimes you can't share everything with everyone. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. But if you can connect with a person, whether it is a family member, a co-worker, or a good friend, or whatever the case may be, and have a dialogue with them about what it is that I want to be able to accomplish in 2025. And I need someone that's going to be able to hold my feet to the fire. That's going to say, okay, did you do this? Did you do that? Accountability partner. And I like that for that, even if it comes to fitness, exercising, if it comes to financial, if it comes to what a goal that you wanted to be able to achieve for the past 90 days or whatever the case may be, that accountability partner I have found to be extremely effective. And my third thing is you need to be able to manage, and I mean manage your life on a day-to-day basis, because there's one thing that I learned a long time ago. It is not if something is going to happen, it is when something is going to happen. So how are you going to prepare for that down the road? What are you doing? What steps are you taking to be able to say, okay, this is what I need to get done? An example. Let's say that with my money coach, I teach people how to be able to crawl before you walk. Meaning the fact is, if you don't have, let's say, I think they said the average savings now for emergency fund is less than $1,000, might be $400. Well, if you don't know how to start that process of how to do that, that's stressful. Because if your car breaks down, let's say you got to go to urgent care. That's $150. Let's say that something happens to your home and you need that extra money. I need for people to literally learn how to manage those life challenges. But in order to manage those life challenges, you have to have some type of plan in place to be able to help you process that. Because if not, you're going to get just bombarded and it's going to go over your head. And what is that going to do? Cause stress.
Awesome. I got a question. There's no caveat to that, because we talked about balance. But is there such a thing as balance with super successful individuals, the Elon Musk, the Steve Jobs, those who are at the top of success? Is there a such thing as balance?
I think there is a balance. You watch, what is it? Jeff Bezos, he was talking about another jet that he just purchased. You think that he just going around there, he enjoying himself. You see him with his girlfriend or fiance. He has a balance. He has a balance. That yacht that he had, it was the super yacht. I don't know how much money he paid for it. I think that there is a balance. And I honestly believe this. Once you know what you want to do, there is a saying that you need to be able to work smarter, not harder. You need to be positioning yourself that you making money in your sleep. Okay? while you doing what you need to get done, I know that my bank account is making some money. Okay? Those are things that you need to be able to implement, and you implement them on a smaller scale. Of course, I wish I was. I did that Jeff Bezos. I don't mean no disrespect, but I wouldn't be on this show with you guys right now. I'll be somewhere else. But the bottom line is that's how you be able to create balance with a plan of action, being able to execute it, but also learning to be able to work smarter, not harder.
Just to piggyback on what you said, there's always this conversation of balance and work-life balance. You know, something someone said to me years ago was this idea of balance is not what we should be focusing on. They said it in a meaner way, but I'll put it that way for you. But basically, it's a matter of what's important to you versus what's not. You know, if you have your priorities straight, then you're not constantly questioning where to find balance and how to find balance. You know what you need to do because you're clear on it. And to kind of segue into my response for that question, I'm a gamer. And one of the reasons I don't like first person shooters is because it puts me in a place where I have tunnel vision and I lose my situational awareness. I don't know what's going on around me because I'm focused on that thing that's right in front of me. And I think that life is sort of the same way. You know, if you allow yourself to be in a place where you're not seeing the big picture, you can get trapped, you can get stuck, you could end up in that place of stress, you know. Stress doesn't happen. It starts off with little things. It starts off as burnout and overwhelm, and then it converts into stress. And then if you don't check it, it can easily become depression. But you don't just wake up one day and you're stressed. There are little things that are chipping away at you along the way. So one of the two, like my belief is to just nip it in the bud, you know, just cut it out early. So I always try to take the approach of instead of trying to figure out how to deal with stress once I have it, it's how do I create techniques for myself to deal with those little things so it doesn't balloon into this bigger issue of stress later on. So going back to like the game analogy, I like a third person shooter. I like the camera a little further behind over my shoulder because why? Now it gives me a better view of what's happening around me. I'm not just here. The camera's like back here. So I can see what's on my left and right. I can see what's sneaking up behind me. I could take a step back and take it all in. And from that place, I think the tool that I recommend the most is position. From that position, I can see the situation better. So if I'm thinking about positioning, where's my mindset? You know, when I take a step back and I analyze the situation, I'm taking it all in and I'm looking at it from a place of like a third party, judgment free kind of person. That gives me the chance to ask questions. You know, it puts me in a place of instead of just trying to figure out, wait, why is the screen turning red or black? Is someone attacking me from behind? Let me figure this out. I'm now further back and I can see, okay, let me ask some questions. What's really happening here? What can I do to add value to this situation? What are the people around me really doing? You know, you can learn a lot. And again, even that idea of learning from, if my position is from a place of learning, then I can ask questions like, what am I learning from this? Instead of, oh, I failed, everything's going wrong, you know, the sky is falling. Now I'm saying, okay, if my head is in a place of learning and growth, my question is, where's the lesson here? What do I learn from this? What's my takeaway? Where's my area of opportunity? And it gets harder for things to sneak up on you from that position. You know, it gets harder for things to weigh you down. It gets harder for things to get in your way and stop you from growing because now everything's an opportunity. You could see it all better. So that's kind of a tool that I would recommend.
Awesome. Awesome. You got anything to add, Derek?
Yeah, just from the standpoint, and I definitely agree with both the comments of the other panelists. One of the things too that's important to me, because as a male, we're workaholics, and from that standpoint, we can become tunnel vision surrounding uh, activities that we may be involved in. And going into 2025, I think we all have to just step back and reflect. You have to plan that journey. What do I like? What do I enjoy doing? What's going to bring me peace? What's going to allow me to have balance in this new year? Because opportunities are going to come, challenges are going to come. From a personality standpoint, I'm not a stressor, so but I have experienced burnout, um, and it did occur over a long period of time. So we really have to be willing to take once we determine what's going to be a part of that journey. We got to be able to make a decision. And I'm planning to do this. This is my goal. Doesn't have to be large, but it needs to be something that we work toward. The other part of that, and I totally agree with the health part. If we don't take care of ourselves, then we may not be around for to extend that legacy. And a part of that is, I think the older we get, um, we fail to realize that we can't do some of the same things that we did maybe when we were 25 years old.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you,
you're right about
that's a
that.
reality check. For it should be a reality check for most men. You just can't.
I mean, I would hope that that would be something that's understood, that is in your late 30s to 40s. That, hey, look, your time is running nigh, and it's like, hey, we gotta bust a move. You gotta start putting some things together. But let's move on. Let's talking about finances. Let's skip to number four. The question number four. I'm gonna skip around. Finances are still a major focus for many of us. What are two financial strategies or habits you recommend for helping Black men build financial stability? I'm definitely wanting to hear this one. Who's gonna jump off the top rope on this?
Derek, where are you?
All right. I think two financial strategies that I recommend to the men in the audience is you 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 can't spend a lot of time worrying about what others are doing. Sometimes, perfect example of that. I'll give you an example of that. When I was a little bit younger, um, I was I was in an upcoming city. I was living in the Charlotte area, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, man, nobody's driving a older vehicle. I'm like, so you end up you go out and you start investing in. It's not really an investment. You start purchasing things that don't maintain the values. So we can get caught up looking at what others have, not knowing the challenges associated with how they received it, and having a plan. Whether you're making 200K a year or 50,000 a year, you still have to have a plan. How are you going to utilize those resources that have come into you? Because we've got people at all levels, and I'm telling you, we heard the term money flies, and it does if you don't have a plan for it. So I would suggest that uh, men have a plan for how you're going to um, budget your money, and the budget is not necessarily, it's just a guide. I'm using the word budget as a guide. Okay, how am I going to spend my money here? How am I going to spend my money there? Uh, and it doesn't necessarily have to be real frugal, but it still needs to be a way to have a plan for it. If you're single, definitely manage it, because you're gonna have a whole lot of opportunities to spend it in a whole lot of different places. Uh, if you're married, you hopefully some balance. Where on the other side, uh, that spouse is uh, um, instead of talking in the mirror, talk to that person, that because typically in a family you're gonna have one that's a spender and one's a saver. So you should have some balance there. But definitely have a plan for where you expect your money to go, and it doesn't matter at what income level you are, money flies.
Mm, 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 mm. Georgiana, Suzanne, y'all want to add anything to that?
Well, got plenty to add to it. Now,
There you go.
my corporate background is working with Equifax. I think the lowest credit score that I have seen is probably 350. Okay. You're at the bottom of the barrel. Now, is there help? Yeah. But this is where I challenge every man that's listening tonight. I want you to have your credit report pulled. I want you to look at it. Okay. I normally tell people, once a year, if you want to be able to pay for it, not pay for it, get the annual report. My husband and I, we have Equifax, because of course I used to work for Equifax. So we have ours, we look at it once a month. So, but we look at all three: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. If you use State Employee Credit Union, they are basically Equifax. Then you have some that may use TransUnion. But I need for you to look at that footprint, because I can tell you how many times I've had a conversation with an actual potential buyer or a client that I am coaching, money coach. And I've asked them, what is your car payment? Well, it's $535. I said, okay. What's your interest rate? Miss Suzanne, I don't know. What are your terms? Is it 60 months? Is it 72 months? Is it 84? Oh, Miss Suzanne, I don't know. I look at them and say, that's unacceptable. Because I need for you, one, to know what is going on in your credit report, because it might be something that's wrong, might be an error. You need to check it. Number two, with all of the hacking that we have had, AT&T, Verizon, healthcare services, the IRS, you need to check your credit report more than once a year. So that's one thing I need for you to do. The second thing that I need for men to do, and I thought about this earlier today. If you are employed at a job, and let's say you are making $40,000 or $50,000 a year, and there is an opportunity for you to be able to join or be a part of a 401k, and the human resources benefit person tells you you are able to at least contribute up to 6%. And the company is going to do a dollar for dollar match. Do you realize, Dr. Bush, how many clients who don't take advantage of that? That's free money. That means that if you at the NBA, and I'm not going to talk about this particular team that gets all of the free throws, but the bottom line is, if you can't make a free throw, that's free money. There's nobody guarding you. There's no offense, defense, nothing. You just standing by yourself. If you miss that free throw, that's leaving money on the table. So I'm just telling my actual clients, male clients, please take advantage of that. You don't have to start out with 6%. You can start out with 1%. And then as you advance or as the increases come, go to 2%. But there is no way that I'm going to leave money on the table. It's just not going to happen. Number three, I want people to be honest and define for themselves for 2025. What's the difference between a need and a want? I need you to be able to really, because I had to correct one of my clients the other day, and she says, Suzanne, I really do need this. No, you don't need it. You want it. So you need to distinguish what a need is and what a want is, because that right there is the beginning of your mindset and how you process what it is that you're doing. I had one client that, for example, it took her 9 years before she purchased a home. Now, she made good money, but she loved Coach. I mean, Coach tennis shoes, Coach watches. She wore a Coach necklace. She Coach. I mean, it was just Coach up and down. So I told her, I said, I'm going to put you on a plan. But the bottom line is, I need for you to be able to have a clear understanding when you are done. When you say the words, enough is enough, it took her about 9 years, but she ended up in a beautiful home. That home there is probably worth about 550, 560, 575 because we got it for 2 something. Gorgeous home. But you got to have that to make that determination. What are you ready to do? What are you ready to give up? Have a clarification of what those needs and those wants are. And one more thing. People buying tennis shoes don't have a problem. I'm not a tennis shoe person. I do have a couple. And I am an AKA, so I do have a pair that has an AKA on there. But women with purses and men with wallets or men with tennis shoes, Nike, Michael Jordan, you making Michael Jordan rich. I ain't got a problem with that. But again, I told this young lady one day, I said, you got a, I think it was either Dooney and Burke bag. I said, that Burke bag costs about $500. So I asked her and said, young lady, do you have $500 separate to put in that bag? She says, what do you mean, Miss Suzanne? I said, do you have $500 that don't belong to no one, not allocated to your utility, rent, mortgage, nothing? And then she says, no. I said, well, then my advice to you, you better go back to Target or Walmart and get you a $40 bag, because I need to make sure that whatever you are carrying, that you got enough coins in there to be able to balance it out. And that's just the truth.
Wow. Good stuff. Georgiana, you wanted to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think both what Suzanne and Derek said were such great things. And even listening to them, I think going back to what I always say, it's about mindset. You know, more than anything else, you have like if you have all the tools, if you've learned everything there is about money, if you're making a lot of money, or if you won the lotto, but you don't know how to utilize it properly, it's not going to do you any good. It's like using an Allen key where you need a Phillips head. You can do it, but you're going to be putting in more work than you need to. I think Suzanne said earlier, you know, you want to work smarter, not harder. So I've noticed that a lot of the time it's our mindset that is getting in our own way. You know, sometimes we get so focused on making money or winning the lotto, and we all know people who make bank and still have nothing. We all know people who won the lotto and within a couple of months it's all gone. So why? It's not the dollar amount. We know people who don't make a lot of money and still their things are lined up. They're, like everything is straight. They're good. They're always set. They always have backup. I was that person. Growing up, I was that person where people would, you know, can I hold a dollar? I was frugal, but even from that place, I needed to learn that I had a lot of ideas and concepts around money. Sometimes it's not, it's learned. It's something that you've picked up from your parents, your family, your community. It's things you learn from other people. But I want to encourage everybody, like you guys need to take some time. And I always encourage people to do this on a piece of paper because I think when you're doing it in your mind, you kind of can get trapped and going around in circles. But make a list, get out a piece of paper and say, you know, good things about money, bad things about money. Just get those beliefs on paper so you can see what you have. Sometimes we have money is the root of all evil. Rich people are evil. They're greedy. They're mean. If you believe that and you're chasing that dollar trying to get rich, you'll always self-sabotage because in your mind, you've already decided that rich people are evil or rich people are greedy. So you got to get the mindset right, first and foremost. I think Derek was, you know, talking about the things that distract us and don't add value. There's nothing wrong with having the nice things, having the yacht, having the shoes, having, you know, those are great. And if you want those things, wonderful, put it on your list, but be clear about why you want them. Is it to keep up with the Joneses? Is it because you didn't have it growing up? Are you trying to prove something to someone else? A lot of the time, we're working so hard to prove ourselves to our parents, to our community, to those around us, or to impress people that really aren't even trying to look at us because they're so focused on their own thing. And we spend our time and energy into doing that. And then you accumulate the things, and it's like there's a hole in your life that you just keep trying to fill. You buy the bag, you want the bag so much, you buy all you sneakers, because we're talking about the guys. You want the sneakers, the latest and greatest, you go out and buy it. I'm a technology person. I love tech. I love gadgets. I like to accumulate stuff. You get it? And then how much time do you really spend enjoying that thing? Is it minutes, seconds, months, days, years? Like, so these things that you have on your list, it's good to have them, it's good for them to motivate you, but are they adding value? Also look at, are you investing in yourself? Are you investing in education, courses, training, personal development, or is it just stuff? Not saying that one is better than the other. I'm just saying, I mean, I believe one is, no, I don't believe one is better than the other. There are instances, but you have to know what it is for you, because those are hurdles that can keep you stuck, and they can keep, at the end of the day, if your value, your self-worth is tied to the labels that you're wearing, the stuff that you have, you're always going to be in this place where you're on the mouse wheel. You're always chasing, you're never going to be happy. So you got to get that straight first, because if you're trying to fill a void with stuff, the void is just going to keep growing. It'll never get bigger. You'll never have enough money. So address those mental challenges first. Why it is that you want it, what's driving you, what your personal beliefs are about money, and even look into where you learned it. Where did you get that from? I picked up a lot of habits from my dad and a lot of habits from my mom. I did stuff and I didn't understand why, but I did them because that's what my parents did. When I came to understand why I did those things, it it changed everything for me. Now that those things don't have control over me, I can make better decisions and choices. And I want you to be in that place too, but you got to get it right up here first.
I love it. I love it. Georgiana, Suzanne, you guys led to a great segue to our next question. Relationships, whether with family, friends, or partners, are vital. What tools can men use to foster healthy relationships that add value? Keyword value to their lives. I told you we were going to come back to this question again. Who wants to go first? Derek, you want to go ahead? Oh, Suzanne says she want to jump on this one.
Go ahead.
We're talking about relationships. Here's the thing, and I hope you listen to me, man. Listen to me. There is a word that is called no. Get comfortable. You don't have to be everything to everyone. Stop it. It causes stress. Just say no. It's all right. You don't have to fuss at them. You don't have to do anything. If they ask you for something, no. If you can't do it, don't want to do it, don't do it. I tell my home buyers in the home buyers classes, listen, I need for you to make a determination of what it is that you want. Okay? Now, you're going to have to create that plan. If grandma calls you and grandma says, oh, I need $25. I need $25. Grandma, what you need $25 for? Well, I got to get down there and get some new stockings for church. Well, grandma, you might have to wear bare legs, or you're going to have to wear them little stockings. Or wear some pants. You're going to have to start saying no. That is one thing that I have found that people just don't feel comfortable doing, or telling somebody no. And I don't know if it's because you want to appear that you got it going on, but just say no. Be like, what was it? Nancy Reagan, when she was talking about drugs. Just say no. Just say no. Can't do it. If your girlfriend or guy friend or whatever the case may be call you and tell you, hey, man, there is this place. I mean, the food is excellent. They got cocktails. I mean, it's cocktail hours cheaper. If you have a direct plan of what it is that you're trying to be able to get to, and I'm not talking about just the journey to the destination. Hey, just say no. Are you going to pay for it? Because you're going to pay for it, hey, look, we can ride. But if you're not going to pay for it, I can't do it. That is probably one of the simple tools that I have seen that's probably been more effective, but there are less people who want to be able to say no.
Mm.
I agree and I disagree.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, that's all right.
I agree with saying that, yeah, you have you know what I'm going to say? I
Okay.
think that it is that you need to have a plan, because for a lot of people, being able to do for others is a part of what drives them, and that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes people get scared, or they don't want to save and do the things that they need to do financially, because it puts them in a place of lack. Like, I don't want to say no, I don't want to
Okay.
live without. And if you have a plan where you've allocated funds to certain things,
Mm-hmm.
then by all means do it. Like, I remember when I used to teach on, or have these conversations on budgeting.
Uh-huh.
Everybody was like, oh, the B word. Nobody wanted to talk about it. And I
That's
said, we're not going to talk about budgeting. We're going to create a spending plan.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, a spending plan sounds a lot better. Let's talk about that. It puts things in a different perspective, because now when you look at it that way, then you're like, okay, what's really important to me? Going back to the stuff that the three of us have been talking about this whole time, the mindset, what your plan is, what your goals are, what you're focused on. Okay, what's important to you? If buying Granny the stockings is important to you, then you might have to say no in another area. But you have to be able to say, this is more important than that, so that you know what exactly to say no to. If it's just yes to everything, then yeah, you're gonna have a problem. So I will take that perspective. It's not always saying no to everything. Like I said, the cars, the bags, that stuff is all good. It drives you. If it, as long as you're getting it in an honest way, as long as you're doing it not to impress people, but because it's something that you enjoy. Buying a house for your mom. People talk about being able to buy the house for their mom, buy the car, be able to support their family. Beautiful stuff. But are you doing it because you have to, or because you really enjoy it? Because it's something that's fulfilling to you. But in that same frame of mind, I also say, you have to be mindful. Going back to relationships, you have to be mindful of who you let into your sanctum sanctorum. That's your life, your mind is your safe space. You have to live with you. So if people are asking you to do stuff that you don't feel comfortable with, that you're not in alignment or integrity with, then
Mm-hmm.
yes, you've got to put that no on quick, fast. Just put the button on your desk and press it as soon as you see them coming. Just shields up. But let them, again, you have to know upfront what your purpose is, what your mindset is. You've got to guard what's up here, like it is the most important thing, because it affects so many other things in your life. And I understand that sometimes you can't pick and choose who you can let. Sometimes it's a family member
Mm-hmm.
or a spouse that is there that you can't. They have beliefs that differ from you, or they have goals for where they're going that differs from where you're going. I tell people, you have to put up your radiation suit. You have relationship with them. They're your loved ones. You care about them, but you can't let what they're on affect you. You can't let what they're giving off move through you. So either put on that radiation suit and repel them, or you get into a place where you can let it flow through you like water. And we were talking earlier about tools. Just being able to visualize, I got my radiation suit on, I got my shields up, whatever they're talking about, they're trying to convince me to do things I don't want to do. Shields up, back off, not letting it happen. Or I am like a wave of water. Everything they put to me, flows through me. I'm not letting it affect me. I'm not letting it become a weight on my shoulders. That way, I'm able to make decisions that serve me and my family better in the long run. So it's not always no as a trade-off. Sometimes it's a no now, so that I can X, Y, and Z later.
I
Can I
got,
say
I got one. Go ahead, real quick, Suzanne, because I want to.
the only reason why I said it is with using no for that period of time, if that is your goal for 6 months.
Yeah.
After 6 months, and you know that you have achieved that, well, then you can go get grandma some stockings. No, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm just saying, when you're focused, the word you used about tunnel vision, I need for people sometime, in order for them to be able to get money put away, they have to have a tunnel vision in order to make it happen. because you can help people. And I'm all about that because of charities and whatever. But I'm in a position to do that. I'm trying to get men in a position that you're able to do that and do it comfortably. And you're not doing it to be able to show off, or you doing something that you know that you can't afford to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dr. Bush.
Derek, did you have something to add? Because I wanted to add a part B to this real quick.
Yeah, just real quickly. I tell you, I'm smiling on the other side of this conversation, but just with family, gosh, you can learn a lot from family members, and I think one of the challenges, and I've got two other siblings, and quite frankly, they're they're 7-figure plans that both of them have, and they've been successful at it. So no, I don't go ask them much for money, but but my brother and I have done several deals together, and sometimes when the family have means, you want to have a healthy relationship with them. Even when it comes to listening at Susanna talk about saying no. Sometimes, if you loan someone a large sum of money, they happen not to show up on a regular basis to have a conversation with you or enjoy being in your company, because the guilt of them not paying you back keeps them away. Mm-hmm. So to have a healthy relationship, gosh, when it comes to money, just be careful, men surrounding. You can give it to them, but when you use the word loan, you might not see them for a minute.
What does they say? Don't give anything that you're not willing to not ever get back.
That is so true.
Very true.
We got 7 minutes. 7 minutes. But here's what I wanted to throw, because we're talking about relationships and finance, and I want to get this from finance people, because I mean, in my work, I talk to attorneys and their respective fields. I'm talking to finance people right now, and et cetera, et cetera. Is there any practicality in 2024, almost 2025, to a 50-50 relationship on bills? What do finance people say about that in this day and age when it comes to marriages and relationships, going half on bills? Holy quietness.
I had to process that one, because I had to process that one. Now, I'm going to go for that one first. Yeah. Dr. Bush.
Yes.
Let's talk about how can you say 50-50?
Okay.
Now, relationships that I've learned, and I'm going to tell you my age. I'm 64. I'll be 65 next April.
All right.
Okay. Now, how can you be 50-50 if one person makes 100,000, the other makes 50?
Okay.
There is no 50-50.
That's true.
I'm a firm believer of using percentages.
Okay.
Now, use percentages based off depending on what they're doing, because I teach my clients, and I want male clients to learn how to do this first, because there's so much behind it. Pay yourself first.
Right.
First, beyond. Okay. Then you need to be able to figure out, you need to have your own personal account as a husband or as a partner. And then the wife has her account, and then you have a household account.
Right.
That seems to work best. Now, some other people may do something else. Okay. But when you split the household, we're talking about rent, mortgage, utilities, whatever the case may be, car payment, cell phone bill. Now, that should be based off the one that makes the 100,000 shouldn't be totally responsible, but the one that's making 50,000 shouldn't expect for that person to pay for everything.
I can understand that.
So you should do it on a percentage basis.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 60%, 40%, 70%, 30%, I don't know. Could be a stay home mom. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But she still brings value to the table because she there with those kids, or she cleaned up that house. Trust me. We got maid services, and those people make some good money. Bottom line is, you need to find out where that comfortable percentage is. But that is again a conversation that people need to have. One, I'm gonna go back to this again, is the credit report. I don't care who you dating. If you just met the guy and it's somebody, Lord forgive me for what I'm about to say. If it's not a hit it and quit it. Now, I need for you to get a clear understanding of where that relationship's going. I need to see your credit report. That credit report is going to tell me everything about that individual. Whether you got late pays, whether you got student loans, whether you got judgments, whether you got collections, it's going to tell me the whole story, male and female. And then you got your perspective, but you've got to have somewhere where that basis is, and then take it into that relationship. Because just like Derek said, you could have a spouse who is a spender, and then you could have the other spouse is a saver. There's got to be somewhere where you got to bridge that together to make it work. So there is no 50-50 to me, because people get up there and say you get married and it's 50-50. Sometimes I love my husband to pieces, and it might be 70-30 that day. The next day be Tuesday. Oh gosh, that man done got on my nerves. I might be at 30 and he might be at 70. So there ain't never no 50-50. I don't know where everybody came with that 50-50. That 50-50 don't work. Not with me.
We got 2 minutes. Georgiana, Derek, y'all want to chime in? Y'all got a minute. Y'all want to chime in?
I think Suzanne nailed it. I think it's important to just have conversations, because everyone is different. And again, to go back to learn what your views are about money, because you might be a saver, like she said, and your spouse is a spender. You got to have that conversation and come to terms with where you both are.
Derek, you want to throw something in there?
Yeah, I can't disagree with the whole 50-50 thing, and probably I've got Suzanne about probably by a couple of years. So hey, you know what? I've lived long enough to know that does not work. But for the younger guys who want to try the 50-50 thing, make sure it's a real commitment.
Wow. Closing remarks. Y'all got 30 seconds each. Give our audience some final tips and your contact information. Where can they find you?
Suzanne Burton. They can find me at scburton.com. You can reach me at 919-274-9281, sale 919-250-9916, office. Closing remarks. I need for you to be put in a position that you're empowered. My job every day, and I hope whoever you're around, you're going to have to do this. My job is to be able to give you information. I want to give you good information so you can do what? Make good decisions. You make good informed decisions, you're going to see success.
Awesome. Georgiana.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Georgiana Haynes, and my website, I think they'll share that on the screen. You can find me here. But you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can always message me if you have questions or ideas. But I would say that, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but the importance is mindset. You have to get your mind right before you do anything else. It starts up here. I think it was Joan of Arc who says the battle, or maybe it was Sun Tzu, I don't remember. But the battle is won or lost in the mind. So you have to get that straight. But don't wait for next year to start. Decide on what you want to do now. And don't say you're going to do it if you're really not. Like, if it's a must, then put it on the list. If it's a maybe, don't even bother, because you're not going to be in integrity with yourself. And you're going to get yourself in a place where you're like, oh, yeah, I always say that, but I never do. And you're going to create a habit of not following through. Break that habit now. Decide what you want to do. Decide, commit, go.
All right. And Derek.
Truly, I've enjoyed being a panelist with these women who provided some excellent tips and education. So to my brothers out there, They spoke a lot of truth that I agree with, and I hope that you're willing to accept it. The last thing that I would say is um, don't be afraid to follow your dream, but make sure that you put some prayer behind it and you've done some reflection, so that when those struggles and when those challenges come, you won't be disappointed and walk away, but you'd be willing to get up and try it again if it didn't work out the first time.
Excellent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, to our audience, thank you for joining us tonight. Remember, Manversation is all about support, growth, and community. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to share this conversation with someone who needs it. Final words. Let's continue to uplift each other as we head into this holiday and beyond. Have a blessed evening. And I want to have the last word. Fellas. Act your age, date your wage. Y'all take it easy. Good night.